Is your engine misfiring? Here are 6 possible causes technically. A misfire is the result of incomplete combustion, or zero combustion, inside one or more of an engine's cylinders. But to you, the driver, the problem will usually feel like hesitation or shaking when the car is running. On modern vehicles, the check engine light will also pop on when there's a misfire. When the check engine light illuminates, your car's primary computer, which is often referred to as the Powertrain Control Module (PCM), will store a diagnostic trouble code (DTC) in its memory. Codes P300 to P312 are the primary DTCs associated with an engine misfire. Why is my engine misfiring? There are many reasons why your engine might be misfiring. It can be a sensor that can cause the engine to misfire, or there can be other causes. It is important to get diagnosed and repaired as soon as possible to prevent from damaging other components. Most common causes of an engine misfire. Okay, let's say your car has an engine misfire. The question is, why is the problem happening? Unfortunately, there are many potential causes, so answering that question isn't always easy. If your car is suffering from a misfire, it's best to let a professional figure out why. Here is what a mechanic might find when diagnosing the issue. 1. Ignition system problems. When most people hear the term misfire, they think of worn-out spark plugs. What they don't realize is the spark plugs are just one part of the ignition system. A typical modern ignition system contains a variety of components, including the control module, crankshaft position sensor, coil packs, wiring and, of course, the spark plugs. Issues with any of these parts can result in an engine misfire. 2. Air and fuel delivery problems. Air and fuel mix together inside the engine, then the mixture is ignited by the spark plug. The explosion sets the engine in motion, creating the rotational force needed to propel your car down the road. Any issue that throws off the air-fuel mixture, ranging from a failed fuel injector to a vacuum leak, can cause a misfire. 3. Emissions equipment problems. Late model cars have an array of emissions equipment that helps minimize the amount of pollution released into the atmosphere. A couple of examples include the exhaust gas recirculation (EGR) system and the positive crankcase ventilation (PCV) system. In some cases, issues with emissions equipment can alter the engine's air-fuel mixture enough to create a misfire. 4. Engine mechanical problems. Many people also don't realize that an engine mechanical problem can cause a misfire. Each cylinder inside the engine contains a piston that must compress the air-fuel mixture for complete combustion. And when the piston is moving upward, the cylinder must remain completely sealed off to create adequate compression. Internal engine problems can prevent the cylinder from sealing properly, leading to a loss of compression and an engine misfire. 5. Sensor and module problems. Today's vehicles contain a plethora of sensors, many of which the PCM uses to determine control of critical functions, such as fuel delivery and spark timing. As such, sensor problems can easily contribute to an engine misfire. Although relatively rare, a problem with the PCM itself can also cause a misfire. 6. Control circuit problems. All of the input and output engine management devices, i.e., sensors, ignition coil packs, etc., are connected where needed via electrical circuits. Problems within these circuits, such as damaged wiring or a loose connection, can cause an engine misfire. What causes a 4-cylinder misfire? When your mechanic talks about a 4-cylinder misfire, or a cylinder 4 misfire, it means their OBD2 diagnostic scanner is showing error code P0304. When this occurs, it's typically caused by your vehicle's powertrain control module identifying an engine misfire in cylinder number 4. The P0304 code can affect how your vehicle performs and drives, so the cause needs to be resolved by your mechanic as soon as possible. Diagnosing the exact problem is not exactly straightforward and there is no magic fix. Other issues that your car is showing need to be considered in order to eliminate and track down the potential cause. Possible causes of a cylinder 4 misfire include a damaged fuel injector, sticking valves, faulty spark plugs, worn coil packs, defective injector circuit, bad catalytic converter, low fuel pressure, leaking head gasket, faulty oxygen sensor, defective mass airflow sensor, faulty throttle position sensor. Any of these components can cause a cylinder 4 to misfire and be the root cause of a P304 engine code. However, a misfire will be considered in conjunction with the following signs: check engine light, engine stalling, rough idle, slow acceleration, excessive fuel consumption, hard starting the vehicle, low fuel pressure, low compression. When does my engine misfire? Engine misfire when accelerating. When an engine misfires under acceleration, when the throttle is pressed, it's not only bad for the engine, but it can be particularly dangerous for everyone on the road. Misfires can happen when a vehicle is under load while accelerating. This causes slow or sluggish acceleration and your vehicle may have trouble getting up to speed. You might feel a jerking motion when pressing down on the throttle. The most common cause of an engine misfire when accelerating is worn-out spark plugs. When spark plugs are suffering from excessive wear, they don't ignite the fuel in the piston cylinder when they are supposed to. This can also be caused by fouled spark plugs, a cracked distributor cap, or bad spark plug wires. All these problems lead to the same outcome: to prevent coil voltage from jumping the spark plug gap, causing the engine to misfire when the car is accelerating. We also see a lot of cars with a failing throttle position sensor (TPS) and dirty fuel injectors being reported as having a misfire by their owners. A lot of other systems such as the fuel injection and air intake system rely on the TPS for accurate data, and if it isn't functioning correctly, you can experience an engine misfire when accelerating, an illuminated check engine light, and the vehicle may even go into limp home mode. Misfire at idle only. It's not uncommon for a car to drive perfectly fine, but then display signs of little hiccups or small misfires at idle. This can, at the surface, seem difficult to determine the cause of, as it doesn't always log a diagnostic code. Some mechanics may be reluctant to look into the problem further, stating if there's no code, there is no problem, but this is not the case. Sometimes, as a precaution, mechanics may want to replace the fuel pump, injectors, and spark plugs if they can't track down the exact cause of the misfire at idle only. What we find is generally the cause of a misfire at idle is an incorrect air-fuel mixture. This can be caused by a faulty O2 oxygen sensor or a single injector that needs cleaning, or even a vacuum leak. Other physical symptoms will need to be considered to track down the problem, such as if the car is suffering from minor backfires, if the engine revs are not consistent, or if any unusual noises are coming from the engine base such as a hissing sound which indicates a vacuum leak. An engine misfire can cause a lot of stress for a vehicle owner as it makes their car more difficult to drive. This stress can be amplified if your mechanic tells you they're not entirely sure what is causing the problem. Gathering as much information about any problem you've experienced or signs from your engine that something is wrong can help your mechanic track down the cause of your misfire. What does an engine misfire feel like? It's worth knowing what an engine misfire feels like, as it will help you identify the problem quickly. Keep in mind that you could be driving at any speed when a misfire kicks in, and what your engine misfire feels like depends on what's causing it. As you're driving, a misfire can cause the engine to lose power infrequently, or a brief hesitation in acceleration when the throttle is pressed. Acceleration may be rough, or the car feels like it's lost power and accelerates slower than usual. The engine may feel like it's stumbling for a few seconds before regaining pace. This can be caused by an incorrect air-fuel mixture due to a faulty O2 sensor. Alternately, a misfiring cylinder can unbalance the engine, causing a shaking sensation.